Shalom, everybody. What it is? What's that? Those are clean buckets. Little mushrooms growing on my bed. Chicken flapping. All right. Let's talk about a little compost. There's my new pile. Um, I just acquired that. That's from a cleanup I just did. Courtesy cleanup. I had a crap load of I put a picture up. Well, you can't see the beginning. Crap load of cut trees and branches, and God knows what else. That's the compost pile I developed. I think I added just a little bit to my other compost. This is the compost pile. This one with the pitchfork in front of it. That one is that's from the chicken wood chips from cleaning out the chicken bins. That's what that is. So that's a special. It's got eggs in there. I shouldn't put whole eggs in there, but they'll freshen up. That right there has got to be 2, maybe 3 yards. And if you wonder why I'm so excited to get compost, last I checked, they charge anywhere from $75 to $90 a yard. Maybe you get it cheaper. Maybe you can find it for $50 a yard. But either way, that right there is about, that's got to be about $200 worth of compost. Maybe at best $150, right? And it took me a good day to get that. That's including chipping it, moving it here, and moving it from the truck to this spot, which I just finished. That's why I sound tired. And I turned all these compost piles I'm showing you. Like this one I just turned. And I'm watching them as I turn them. I've been trying to figure out a compost. I brought this nice book. I read half of it, or I skimmed through it. What I'm finding from my own experience is the key to having a compost pile is volume. I think you need at least 1 yard, which is about that's almost 2 yards. I would say this one right here is probably almost 2 yards. I'm going off the eyeballing it from my trash days. I kind of know what a yard looks like. A yard is most garbage cans in the back of apartment buildings, those rectangular ones. Most of those are 2-yard bins, if you know what one of those look like. That's a 2-yard container. So this would more than fill up. This one will be hanging out the top, probably. That's why I said this one's probably 2 yards. But this is kind of a brown compost. But as I turn it, every time I turn it, I'm watching it, it gets blacker and blacker and blacker from where it started. You know, it started off like this. This is mostly brush. It's got a lot of stuff. Me putting it over here from the truck is kind of like turning it. I'm always picking the trash out. And I wish you could have seen it when I first turned it. There's worms everywhere in this stuff, man, which is great. Like, that's what you want. You don't have to bring the worms. They're in the ground. They're in the compost. They just show up. You can start your piles with a little bit of compost, but these piles I didn't. Because I really didn't know what I was doing. I kind of read through the book. I didn't really read it like I'm going to go back and do. But I've watched a lot of stuff on compost. And my experience is the volume. If your pile is big enough, which is, I would say at least you want 2 yards. Some people say a yard, but I would say 2 yards. 2-yard pile, even 1-yard pile I've seen, it starts to get hot. Like wood chips, if you leave them piled up, they're going to start composting. any organic matter, if you leave it piled up 1 yard, I would say 2 yards. So that's about uh, 3 yards. That's about 2 yards. Let me get back so you can see this better. Yeah, that's about 2 yards. That's about 3 yards. You know, if I counted for what they would charge, the last I checked, this place has got nice compost. They charging, what I gotta do next is sift them. But they charging $163 for a 2 yard bag with the tote. So let's say the tote costs $20, $150. Even let's say you can find a better deal and get it for $120 or $100. That's $100 to $150 worth of compost. That is anywhere from $220 to, you know, if it's, you know, if you got it for $150, still you're talking about over $200 to $230 worth of compost. So them two right there, you know, you're talking about almost $400 worth of compost. 152 something, yeah. Yeah, you're talking about roughly $400 worth of compost right there, right? I know they'll drop off, I think it's 20-yard truckload for $800. So you're talking 3, 5, you know, maybe 5 times that. Either way, it comes out. If that's 1, 2, forgive me in my bad one. 1, 2, 5. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, either way, you're paying, you know, $75 to $75 a yard on average, I guess. So that's about 5 yards of compost. That's my new pile, though. I just got that for a day's work of getting it. So that's like got to be $200 something worth of compost right there, right? And that's not the only thing I got. And of course, I chipped, you know, half the day and cleaned up. I did a day's work to get it. But here's I cleaned out my trailer. Mighty. I gotta fix that light. What I also got was this pile of wood chips. And this is at least 1 yard of wood chips. And as I checked, they want $25 for mulch. This is mulch basically. This would cost you about $25. So yeah, you're talking about 200 and let's say 150. So 75 is 225. Yeah, it's about $250. You know, for me in a day's work, and I did like community service. I might get into yard cleanup. It's $275 is worth a day. That's what this I think well, on the market that's what it's valued as. And let's talk about its value for me. I mean, that's this the only way this gonna help me grow my food around here, because this ain't the Midwest. They got a lot of clay. It's a lot of clay in the soil, and you need compost. Let's talk about this pile, right? Because this is real value we talking about. And look at that. This is real economics. This pile here, I got this pile. That's still, and this is about done. I just need to sift this. Like, this is composted. This was all leaves. That's about that might be 2 to 3 yards. It's at least 2 yards, maybe 2.5. I'm thinking that might be 3 yards. I tell because it's a funny shaped thing. But I got this from just getting the leaves. Let me show you from down that block.